Welcome to Unlearn the Crap TV with your host, Kathy Baldwin. Unlearn the Crap TV is more than just a show. It's a movement towards breaking free from the disempowering structures designed to benefit the few at the expense of the many. It's about education, healing, and unlearning the detrimental beliefs that have been ingrained in society for generations. So now, please welcome the host of Unlearn the Crap TV, Kathy Baldwin.
Welcome to Unlearn the Crap TV, where we question everything so that we can achieve anything. I'm so excited about today's show. Today, at all of our shows, we are looking at a topic, and we're going to cover that topic over 4 shows. And we're going to have 4 different perspectives discussing that topic. The 4 perspectives are going to be mine because. The other 2 are going to have 2 very special curated expert perspective that I have brought for you, that we're going to discuss this topic from different perspectives, but also from different vantage points as how it affects your life. And the 4th and the most important perspective is yours. This is an interactive live streaming show. Even if you're watching it on repeat. There we go. I'm always going to have a little tongue tie right at the beginning of a show. I think that's going to happen. Anyways, I encourage you to send in your comments. Phone in, talk through the different platforms wherever you're watching and share your unique perspectives. Today, I'm so excited to be able to share 2 people that I could not have picked as a better first show guest. The first one is Charel Morris, and the second one is Mark Entrekin. And I am going to let them introduce themselves. I'm going to ask, Will, can you bring my 2 amazing perspective experts on? Hello.
Hello, how are you today?
I am so thrilled to have you both here today.
Thank you.
So, today,
Thank you. It's a thrill to be here.
Oh, wonderful. Our topic for the first 4 shows is going to be the meaning or the purpose of life. And my perspective comes from my healing journey. You see, I had a full and complete nervous breakdown. I had pushed myself and my body for too hard for too long, and I finally broke. And that was what was created Unlearn the Crap, my book. It's what's created Unlearn the Crap, the TV show. And so my perspective from this journey is that the purpose of life is for us to be at peace with ourselves, within ourselves. Our central nervous system is a wired connection within our bodies, and it connects within our environments. There is no disconnection. And our central nervous system basically has an on and an off switch. And when it is on, it is all sirens blaring. It is alarm bells. It is stress. It is chaos. It is absolute thinking that we're in danger and we need to run and hide. That is not where we are at our best. We are at our best when we are within our parasympathetic nervous system, when everything is running in a homeostasis, when we are at peace and in alignment within and without ourselves. That is my perspective on the meaning of life. We think about it as too big, too grand, where when we are at peace, when we are aligned with ourselves, we naturally find what our purpose is and where we belong in this world. On that note, I would like Charel and Mark for you both to give just a quick little synopsis of what your belief is on the purpose of life. And then we're going to go a deep dive with each of you in your own segments because we have a little bit of time to do a little introduction here. So, Charel, ladies first, would you mind?
Well, in this universe, men, ladies, we all should be sharing. My background, my life has been interesting, working in film and television for years, working in shamanic realms for years, and working with the largest hacker conference in the world for years. And I came back to doing my healing work. And what you talk about in terms of the body is key. What I would add into body for full life is this energy that we call quantum that has come back into our world. And I'm going to talk about that deeply because I think as we understand the importance of connecting, collaborating, being at one with each other, not judging each other, not deciding, well, they're right and they're wrong. Those things throw us out of balance as human beings. And so we'll talk a bit about quantum. And I'm going to open with some discussions regarding choices and churches and sort of things like that.
I look forward to your conversation. Mark, now you know why I said you were the perfect companion guest to go with Charel. And I'm going to
Thank
let you
you.
take it from there.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm very honored to be here, and that is a compliment to me. Process of knowing what Charel knows, and for the three of us, as well as everyone else that we talked to today, and building a better life in what we're doing and where we're going. Because so much of our culture, our natural behavior is learned. I am one of those that is slowly helping us go to professional first and not gender first. I hope everyone that is listening to this, and both of you, if you're not already on my email list, my newsletter goes out today. And I talk about that in one of my articles. It's not about gender. It's not about who goes first because of a certain entity. It's because of the professionalism and what's coming from our heart, that we are heartuated toward what we want to do next. Because rethinking what we were taught to believe about ourselves and about others, we have that learning, that culture to build on our today and tomorrow that works at home, in the office, in the public, our social life. So, what we do must be about what we want for ourselves, our family, and everyone that we are around. Life is what we make it. Let's make it awesome.
Oh, you couldn't have both either said that any better. Charel, you come to this conversation from what I consider the detail, the quantum, the inner workings. Mark, I see you coming at this from the global, from the societal, from the community, from all of those structures. And so I am very, very excited for us to have this conversation, not only amongst each other, but I'm going to ask our community who are watching if Mark or Charel says anything that sparks a thought, a feeling, a memory, a whatever. Please join into the conversation. This is a designed to be challenging our thoughts, challenging what we've learned, unlearning that which does not serve us, and becoming back to critical thinking where we make our choices and our decisions from a place of personal empowerment, because this show is based on a four-way win. A win for me, a win for our experts, a win for you as the community who are watching, but most importantly, from a global, interconnected, raise our world and make things better perspective. That's the four-way win that we're going for.
I like what
Charel,
you're saying.
thoughts, Charel, before we head out? Because Will's about to take us to commercial in a few minutes, and we'll come back for some details.
I'm excited by this conversation because from my positioning in quantum and in the spiritual side of quantum, I am not a scientist. Let's be clear. I am a shaman, but not a scientist. That as we understand how we work together, how we can collaborate, how we can stop trying to prove who's right and who's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I want to live in that world.
I do too.
I want to be joyful and creative and aware of how we can bring all of that into our world instead of trying to figure out how I can get more than they have. Be it person to person, country to country.
Love it. Love it. Could not.
And that's
Mark?
one of the things. Thank you. Appreciate that, Kathy. Because one of the major drives that I'm on right now, and I hope everyone listens, and I would love to have questions about this, because I mentor leaders, you and I, everyone in the audience, to empower ourselves in achieving unity by caring, helping, and including others as we end anger, hate, and prejudice, personally and professionally. We can do this through the elimination of the crisis that we have created by holding on to yesterday's hurtful cultures. We must improve those with attitudes that may have been accepted decades ago, but do not promote today's more global, professional lifestyle. We have a large caring, a large helpfulness, and I'll go into some of my acronyms later. But as
Please.
Charel said, we are looking at this universally around the world, and we can start doing that here today.
Right after this commercial break.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them. Rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies. Find settings that allow them to be the most productive and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that excited you and got your juices flowing as much as it did for me. Mark, I'm going to ask you to begin because you're starting from the big picture, the global, the communities. Could you give us your thoughts and feelings on what the meaning and purpose of life is and how you address it in your world?
I would love to, Kathy. And that's the struggle I think that we all work in, because once we are in the process of making an improvement, and when I look at an improvement, I'm looking long term. We all make changes daily basis, but changes are usually short terms. They're a subdivision of maybe a mission within the vision, and the vision being the improvement. So I'm constantly, continuously reaching out to corporations through the HR department, associations the same way, any organization, reaching up as high as I can with event coordinators so that I can come into their organization, their corporation, their association, and speak to them, bring everyone together, because as you're mentioning, what I'm bringing forward must start with leadership. How
Mhm.
many times does leadership not communicate? Working on another program right now on communication, because the ability for us to talk to the right people and to build on the fact that this is about achieving unity. In my article, one of my articles coming out today in my newsletter, and again, everyone, please let me know, send me your email address. But I talk about the prejudice and how when you're around 2 and 3 year olds, they care that you've got this big toy or that you've got red hair or brown hair or blonde hair. Do they care about the color of your skin? No. What they want to do is look at you as a friend, a partner. Do sometimes we want to play with the same toy? Sure. But at that age, we can understand. 2 year olds are a little bit difficult at times, but so are 18 and 36 and 42 year olds. We want to make sure that what we're doing is seeing that we are all alike. And
Mhm.
I go into the process of sharing with these associations, corporations, organizations, and right now, especially reaching out to the colleges and universities because of all the impact and all of the rebellious nature that's coming, and talk more about achieving unity and realizing that there are only four blood types in this world: A, B, AB, and O. There's a positive and negative of each one, but there's only four. So no matter where you go, what college you go to, what country you go to, Antarctica, the North Pole, go visit Santa Claus. He too will only have, as well as Mrs. Claus, only have those four blood types. So when you're going to the hospital and you're having surgery or having your tonsils out or anything simple, you're going to have someone who has donated that blood. And you don't want to think about, I call it the love circulation. You don't want to think about, well, the person I just didn't like has my blood type and I need their blood to stay alive. Or my
Mhm.
child. I went through an accident when I was 18 years old. That was that way. I needed 9 pints of blood. Do you think my parents cared that, well, did that person have too many earrings? Did that person have too many tattoos? Did that person have the education that my son wants? No. We are all together learning in one set of four blood types that work with all of us. O positive goes to any positive blood type. O negative goes to everyone. It's a universal donor. I'm A positive. I can accept both of those. But the bottom line is we are all one. And that's
Mhm.
what life is all about. Being back to that 2 and 3 year old attitude where we can all play together, we can all be joyful together, and be professional together. Red, yellow, black, brown, or white. We all need to be professional in each other's sight.
I love that. You are connecting my voice of the universal laws and how the universal laws, we have the law of polarity, we have the law of gender. We have to have those charges of the give and take in order to create. And without those differences, there is no creation, there is no energy created. Can
So
I
if
ask
we're
Mark?
not creating energy, what are we doing? Sorry.
Absolutely. I was just going to say, when you go to these organizations, what do they say is their major challenge today?
Right now, the major challenge is they like it, but are we ready for it? That's a lot
Ah,
of information, but is the staff, are the people ready to grab onto this and take it forward? Or are there other easier ways we can talk about this? But that's the same problem we're having with our schools. We're avoiding a lot of these subjects. I'm working with the American Psychological Association right now on some programs to learn that why are we leaving this out? Why is anger, hate, and prejudice not a documented procedure in every school? So when I go to
mhm.
corporations, I'm having the same problem. Oh, we love what you say, but to take it to the organization, for the organization to grab onto it, there's a little bit of fear. And that's when
Mm,
I get beyond that fear, that false evidence
yeah.
about reality.
Yeah. I would like to ask our fourth perspective, all of the viewers who are watching this, is this too soon? Are you ready for this change? Are you looking for somebody to bring this to your work environment? Are you crying for peace and purpose in your workplace?
And we don't want to say that you can't rebel. We're not saying that you can't stand up for your rights or your beliefs. But we are saying we can all do that in a professional manner and not a violent manner, right?
Absolutely. Where do you see the greatest impact of getting rid of or eliminating anger and fear and prejudice in our work? Because when we first talked, you were talking about how it starts in legislation and how it goes through the court systems and the police systems, and it goes through all of our systems.
That is, we could go into a whole speech on that right now, Kathy. I love that you brought that up because how many of us, for example, go to church and read the Bible? Well, if you do that, you also know that there are versions of the Bible that are translated because the Bible was written many, many years ago and it's difficult to read and difficult to understand. How many of you truly read those documents? You buy a house and you get this document that's 99,000 pages long about all the legal ramifications that go with it. Nobody reads all of that. We have to trust it. But that means that our statutes, our law, the way it's written today, generated by our legislature, the House and the Senate, is writing the law and they pass it off to some, what would it be, a bar association committee to put it in legalese? Who understands legalese? Well, lawyers and judges. Well, how many of our laws, written again by our legislature, taken to the courts, how many people understand it, and how many of those are going to the Supreme Court?
Mm.
It's a situation we have got to take charge of our legislature, and every law must be written so that the people who have to obey the law can read it and understand it. And we're nowhere near that today. But we need to talk to our legislature. This is a big election year. We need to focus on making sure that our legislature understands that if you're going to write a law that I'm going to follow, I need to understand it.
Absolutely. In my book, Unlearn the Crap about personal success and empowerment, I talk about how our brains are wired and how challenging those thoughts and beliefs that were programmed from an earlier version that is outdated is equivalent to running your smartphone on a DOS computer. They're so outdated, we
It
wouldn't
doesn't work.
consider it.
And on that same note, and I've just been to Mexico a couple of times here lately, but when I travel, been to Europe, France, Italy, the funny thing is when we go to another country and you watch other people, you'll see that when they're not understanding each other because of the language differential, one person starts talking louder. Like, yelling at me is not going to help me understand a language that I haven't learned. And that's the same thing with our legislature and the laws that they write. I fully support our police departments. They receive a lot of flack. But our police department, if you put yourself into their shoes, they're going to be awful tight because of what they have to put up with through the laws written by the city council, the county commissioners, the state, federal, all of it again in legalese. Put yourself in a police officer's shoes. Now, some of them have done some very bad, very wrong things, but so have other people in other industries, in other occupations.
Yep.
But we must start so that we all understand the rules they're asking us to follow, right?
Absolutely. In my program, Drive Your Destiny, I talk about that through universal laws. That when we don't understand the universal laws, we're dealing with chaos and we're bumping up against structures and systems that don't work for us. But when we work within the laws that are designed for our empowerment, now we all flow.
Very good point. I don't know if you have time, but I could quickly walk through anger, hate, and prejudice if we have a moment.
Well, let's ask Will. Let's ask Will. Will, let's ask Will. How much time do we have?
Around like 2 more minutes.
You have 2 minutes, Mark. You can do it.
All right, let's go into it. And I'll try not to talk quickly because I know I can do that very, very fast. I'm a Southern boy with a West Texas accent. Could have went to college at Texas Tech University. But just quickly, anger, A-N-G-E-R. What is it? It's actions not gaining effective results. Anger, actions not gaining effective results. We must prioritize our success by producing a desired or intended result. Well, how do we get around that? But we created an anger formula. What's anger formula? We go from anger to calm, C-A-L-M, canceling anger, leading motivation. Calm, canceling anger, leading motivation. That's where we go. That's where we start. Well, sometimes that anger turns into hate. What do? Well, what is hate? H-A-T-E, hate. Having accelerated troubled expectations. H-A-T-E, having accelerated troubled expectations. We again must prioritize our appreciation for the unknown as we produce, again, desired and intended results. Do you feel your success is based on immaturity or insecurity? If you're thinking about hate, you're going to be more immature and more insecure because you're blaming someone else just to make you think you feel better. Last but not least, prejudice, P-R-E-J-U-D-I-C-E. We need to turn that from the negative, and this is in my article this week in my newsletter. Prejudice, positive reactions echoing justice as we are understanding delivered inclusion by creating excellence. P-R-E-J-U-D-I-C-E. Positive reactions echoing justice as we are understanding delivered inclusion by creating excellence. That's where we need to be. That's where we must go. And that's in my newsletter. I hope you all let me know. I'd love to send you a copy.
Absolutely. Will, take us away.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. You know, it feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent, but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back to Unlearn the Crap TV. Are we off to a great start or what? Charel,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you. Were you having a little happy dance as Mark was talking and saying how aligned you felt?
Well, the concept of alignment is very important in my world. And I feel like we have this mix because when I go into companies or corporations, I go in with this amazing way of reducing stress. And it's astounding. So, Mark, we need to talk.
Let's do.
I think we could have some good stuff. And I understand it. When last week, Kathy, when we were first going over this, and what came to me in terms of what I wanted to talk about has to do with, we are in the midst of several wars, several groups of people thinking that their spiritual guide, their God, wants them to win, wanting the other person not to win. The other person also has their experience of God or Buddha, or by whatever name we want to work with. And yet, in my experience and what has become very clear as I am going deeply into spirituality and quantum, is we all have the same creative energy or God within us, whether it was 5,000 years back and the dreaming world, or in so many ways. And we come up with this sense that our God is the only God. The way I think of this energy is the only right way. And yet, the reality in that energy is for us to be at one with each other. There isn't a tribe or a nation that has the only good God or Buddha or whatever. And my experience from both studies and some interesting moments is that from the beginning of time, this energy moves throughout our universe and our world. And it always comes in a way that that tribe, that group, that city, that church can see it. But it's not different than what they have there. And that oneness tells us that there's no one right person or company or country that should win this war, because we are all in it and it's affecting the earth. We know there's some challenging things affecting the earth. And when the whole quantum came back around, because it's been there forever. It just sort of got moved out in the last 1,000 years. But as it comes back, it's bringing back in the spirituality, balancing the science, bringing back the wholeness instead of separation.
Can I just interject there? Because I want to say, I know you're talking about religion, and that can be a trigger for some people.
Yeah.
And as we talked about in my very first show, if you're being triggered by something you're hearing here, that is your inner body, your inner soul asking you to pay attention to something. Something inside of you is trying to get your attention. So challenge that. But what I wanted to bring up to that is when we look at science, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred or transmuted. If that's the case, how can there be separation when at a very physics level?
Yeah. Yeah. If you think that out of this situation that you're in, that you are to win and they are to lose, as I understand it, nobody wins. Luckily, in a certain way, nobody loses.
Or we all lose.
Yeah, we all lose, and probably winning is difficult. And realizing how, you were talking about understanding the laws, Mark, which I thought was very interesting. And one of the things that I have always considered a little interesting element of our early history in the US, the Iroquois nation existed basically where, I guess, DC is, in that area. That's where their tribe, their nation was. And there was a lot of interaction. And the way the Iroquois managed their nation, for lack of another word, much of that was brought into our Constitution. There is a lot of the material that they set up their government with that we set up ours with. The one thing that I think we missed out on is in the Iroquois Nation and many native groups like that. If there is a major decision, a life-death major decision to be made that would affect all those in our country for the next 7 generations, the decisions are made by the elders, and quite often the women elders, because they were felt to be most connected to the growth in the life of the tribe. We don't have that. It would be astounding, I think, to have that. When we were talking last week, Kathy, one of the things I mentioned is that my sense of that creative energy, that God energy, is that it is the energy because it shifts itself in a way that it can be seen by the Aborigines 4,000 years ago. It can be seen by this tribe up in New Guinea or out in Hawaii, or it's seen in Europe as Christianity. But it all comes in the same place. And I just think at this point in time, it's important to realize that we are more the same than we are separate.
Absolutely. And our brains have physical components in them. Our reticular activating system, our amygdala, all of that is our filter. So what you're saying makes perfect sense from a physical point of view, because if we can't get it through our filter, how is spirit going to come through?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you mentioned that, if you don't mind me interrupting, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but how is life going to come through?
It doesn't. That's just the fact. We are giving up life and joy and health. All of those things that are so important. I mean, that's one of the reasons when I was trained by this gentleman from France who was astounding to doing this way that he discovered how to reduce stress in a matter of moments, because he brings in the energy of our nature. And I'm talking mountains and dolphins and such, or just being able to look at a direct line. It's astounding. And when I go in and talk with businesses, and I'm sure this has come up in conversations for you, Mark, that when your top team is stressed out, and they will be because that's part of our culture at this point, they start getting, their brain is a little foggy. Their creative energy is draining. And that can be cleared so quickly and easily. And it all starts coming back. And potentially, depending on how the insurance is going in the company, stress messes with your body and your health. And if you didn't have to pay as much insurance, that would also be great. And it happens in this very unique, easy way. And the gentleman who taught me spent 10 years as a monk with the Dalai Lama as his photographer. And he's like, we don't meditate like that. We just know that it's released.
Charel, that is an amazing point of view, but Will is tapping us on the shoulder. So just like we need to listen to our inner guidance system, we need to listen to our team. Will, take us away.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back to Unlearn the Crap about the purpose of life. So I brought you two amazing people. We are about to have a very spirited final conversation, but I cannot let this go without extending an invitation to you, the audience. Mark is on a mission. Mark has a passion that he wants to get out and speak to organizations and associations and bring this message of inclusivity and ending prejudice and anger. If you believe that this is the time, that it is not in the future, then I encourage you to connect with Mark. All his information will be in the show notes. Invite him to be a speaker at your next organization. Make an introduction to him, to your company, to your CEOs, to your circle. That is how you can bring your part of ending anger and prejudice into this world. And I highly, highly encourage you to bring Mark to your circle, your connections, and let's end hate and anger right here. Charel has an amazing gift where she can help you connect not only spiritually and from a quantum level, but find your spirit animal. And she has a very special offer that she will be extending, and you can find that in the show notes as well. I was afraid that if I did not get that out, that we would get on too passionate of a conversation. So I am going to turn the floor open to open conversation. Please, everyone who's watching, listening, if you got comments, this is your time. But Mark, Charel, what are your thoughts about how we need to leave this message?
From my perspective, now is the time. We do not need to have more people killed. No. We do not need to have more animals disappear from the face of the earth. We do not need to have more fires, more floods, more challenges along the way. And we need to work together throughout the world, but also in our specific arena, say Northwest or North America in general. We need to work together. And we need to realize that in that energy, that wholeness, the anger and the hatred can be so much more released, removed.
Mark, I bet you have something to say about that.
Absolutely. And as Charel mentioned, it can be removed. And quickly, if everyone will go out to www.achievingunity.com, learn more about it, read some of my newsletter articles, get in touch with me. Like Kathy's saying, Charel is saying, it's about achieving unity so that we are all working together and we can speak the same language of kindness and professionalism, being able to see each other as we are. There's no fighting. We create the fights. We create the issues. I'm speaking to as many universities as I can because, again, the rebellion's there, but we can do it professionally. it's one of those situations where we end up fighting, and where's the value? Where is the value in the fight? Now, if you're some great fighter and you're signing some contract and you're getting up into a boxing ring or those ninja fights that are out now, and you both have signed a document and you're paid millions of dollars, great. I'm all for that. That's what you want to do. That's your choice. If you're fighting in the street or you're fighting at a rebellion, that's foolish. It goes back to the maturity and security are going to the immaturity and insecurity. We can work together. We can work through this. So again, www.achievingunity.com. Love to hear from you. Charel and I will be working together in the future. Kathy and I are already working together. Let's work together with you as well. I'm looking forward to talking with you directly.
Well, thank you, Mark. And Charel, can you share your contact information here as well?
I'm really simple and easy. It's Charel, CHARELM @gmail.com. And realize that hatred, that anger builds up your stress, and stress kills. It's not just annoying. It's not just a headache. It starts taking your brain apart because we don't understand what we used to. I think we did understand a few hundred years ago because animals know how to drop stress.
Yes.
Not hanging around. It's not good.
Absolutely. And from my perspective, I believe that we are in a very pivotal paradigm shift that's happening in this world. And we have the gift of AI and robotics and automation that are coming, and they are taking away the jobs that require repetitiveness, that can be done by anybody, that are manual labor, the things our education system taught us how to do. And what does that leave us? What does that leave you? Well, that leaves the most humanness of you to come forward and rise up. Your compassion, your innovation, your imagination, your creativity, your love, all of these things that only belong in the human experience, that we can only experience when we are not in stress, when we are not feeling anger, when we are not disconnected, when we are collaborating, when we are together in full unity. Can you imagine a world where every single one of us is living our authentic, truest, best self and the gifts that you're bringing to the world if you could just be your fully aligned self? We are almost out of time here. Mark, thank you so much for your time and your energy and your expertise coming from such a global perspective. I highly recommend everyone come and invite you to speak at their organizations. Charel, thank you so much for bringing it to an intimate, connected, spiritual place.
Thank you.
Together, we weave the beginning of what I hope is a major change for the better in the world.
Yes. It's already in motion.
That's it.
Just as they say, jump on board.
Jump on board.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Welcome to Unlearn the Crap TV, where we are challenging everything, questioning everything so that we can achieve anything. Welcome to our world. Join our communities, and we will see you on the next show where we're going to continue this conversation on the purpose of life, and we're going to talk about it from different perspectives. Until then, stay awesome.
This has been Unlearn the Crap TV with your host, Kathy Baldwin. Tune in each week as Kathy challenges you to rethink everything you know about personal empowerment and societal structures. Thursdays, 4 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave TV network.